Yeah, so that's where the Browns come into the movie more, because they're kind of like in it less up until then.
Yeah.
But then that's... Because when we were rewatching it this time, I was thinking like, wow, I kind of feel like maybe the Browns aren't in it enough. But no, that's the part of the movie where they come in and I think they serve their role well enough. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Brown, the younger ones, do a little bit less, but
Judy prints a lot of missing posters, okay?
That's true.
Or not missing,
Not missing, but posters of the homeless man. And they have a million pictures of him, but still can't recognize that he's like right in front of their face, right under their nose.
And something in this part, in the Browns' attempt to clear Paddington's name, that we forgot to mention earlier, but it's really important, is a lot of the neighbors who live in Windsor Gardens near the Browns are, you know, they're great friends with Paddington. He helps them with little things in their morning. He really makes their day better. So in his absence from Windsor Gardens since being in jail, a lot of these people are kind of trying to help him clear his name. They're selling newspapers, trying to find the homeless man who did it. Mrs. Brown does a little concept sketch, and you kind of see how important Paddington was to their lives.
Yeah, because when he's gone, like, there's this one guy who every morning he
locks himself out of
forgets his keys and locks himself out of his house, but Paddington always tells him just in time, and he catches the door and goes and gets his keys.
And helps the newspaper stand lady and that veteran guy find each other.
Oh, yeah.
And so there's all these little things that were set up with how Paddington helps the people in his neighborhood, and as a result, they will later on contribute to him getting out of jail free, getting out of jail for free.
So,
I beg your pardon?
Getting out of jail free.
Yeah.
Out of jail for free.
So Mrs. Brown just breaks into Mr. Buchanan's house. How does she do it again?
They have a plan. They sneak her in with a package that's delivered in the mail.
They deliver her in a package. Just like how there was that thing where like Taylor Swift would hide in a suitcase and her bodyguards would take her out of the car in a suitcase because she didn't want to be seen by the paparazzi.
That's so funny.
That's a thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What's your favorite thing about Taylor Swift?
That's my favorite thing about Taylor Swift so far. So they deliver Mrs. Brown to Phoenix Buchanan's house in a suitcase after the Browns start to catch on that he's behind all of this. They search his house. Mr. Brown shows up in a very funny little moment.
This is breaking and entering.
We haven't broken anything.
And they have some of the most comedic lines of the movie, I would say. At least some of my favorites are in this scene.
Definitely one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when Phoenix finds them in his house and they have to, like, explain their way out of it.
Yeah.
Henry?
Hello, Phoenix.
What on earth are you doing here?
You know what it made me think of? It made me think of the hot dog car sketch from I Think You Should Leave.
Someone drove a hot dog-shaped car through the window!
Driver's gone. Somebody call the cops. We need to find that driver.
They could have killed someone.
Whose car is this?
Yeah, come on! Whoever did this, just confess. We promise we won't be mad.
We just gotta find out who did this.
I live here. It's my house.
And I insure it.
Yeah, it was very, everyone knew what was going on, but no one said it. You know, Phoenix knew they were up to something. They knew he was up to something. Everyone knew.
Oh, yeah, and then there was, to get him out of his house in the first place, what's her name? Lucy, is it? Judy. Goes to, interview his...
agent. Phoenix's agent.
His agent, his, like, casting agent.
You've brought breakfast. Nice buns, by the way.
And she records clips of her saying things in order to, like, give a fake phone call from her. Which has a funny little joke in it.
The Ritz, darling.
I am on my way.
Nice buns, by the way.
Anyway, so while the Browns are working so hard to figure out who stole the book and to get Paddington out of jail and clear his name, Paddington's friends in jail have come up with a plan to break out of jail. Paddington doesn't want to do it because he always wants to do like the honest and right thing, like his Aunt Lucy taught him. But he ends up being convinced to go along with them when the Browns miss their visit with him because they're working
because
so
of their
hard
scheme
to do this. Yeah, that
right,
they end up
with catching
accidentally
Phoenix.
missing it.
So they forget to go and see him during visiting hours, and Knuckles had told Paddington, your family's gonna forget you eventually, just give it some time. So, of course, when they don't come to his visiting hours, the poor little guy gets very upset and is convinced to go with the escaping prisoners that he's friends with. So he does. They make a makeshift hot air balloon and fly out of the prison in a really nice little scene.
Yeah.
It's very pretty when the
I
balloon
feel like
is floating over
the police would notice them and just like send a helicopter up. But I mean, you know, it's in the fictional reality of the Paddington cinematic universe. So.
Right, the Paddington's it's a PCU. Marvel, never heard of it. Yeah, so they escape. They land the balloon after flying out of prison, and Paddington is very excited to go and clear his name. But Knuckles and his friends reveal to him.
And yeah, sorry for like interrupting
No, that's
you, but
okay.
that just made me think. So earlier in the movie, Mrs. Bird like makes a joke about a coin being in Paddington's ear when it's not. It's that thing people do.
Oh
It's
my
like,
god, yeah.
Oh, look what was
I
in
found this in your ear.
They
Yeah.
do that to like little kids.
It's all
So she does
covered in
that to
earwax.
Paddington. Then he thinks it was actually in his ear. So I guess he sticks it back in his ear.
Yeah, he thinks
And
it came from there and it belongs
You just
there.
think it's some silly joke. Turns out that comes back
That does come
in the
back.
movie when he needs to use a payphone to call the Browns, and he uses the coin
Yeah.
on the payphone.
Yeah, see?
And I'm like, I totally forgot about that. That was a
Payoffs
very
of
clever, setup and payoff.
Yeah, that is a very clever thing. And so they land, and the prisoners, Paddington's friends, reveal to him that they aren't actually planning to help him clear his name, and they're planning to leave the country and go start up a marmalade business. And Paddington is not about that because he wants to go back to the Browns. So he finds a phone booth and pulls this coin out of his ear that they set up and uses it to call them. And basically, they end up figuring out what exactly it is that Phoenix Buchanan is up to and what he's after, and realize that they need to get to Paddington Station because the train from the steam fair has somewhere on it the treasure that Phoenix Buchanan is seeking with this book, and they have to stop him and get the book back.
How does Paddington end up on it though? Is he just following Phoenix?
So the Browns figure out where Phoenix is going, and they tell Paddington on the phone.
Paddington. Yeah, that's
and
right.
then
Okay.
he sees, this comes back around, he sees the garbage truck of the neighbor who he would jump on the garbage truck with and help him study for his classes, and hitches a ride with his neighbor to get to the train station and disguises himself as a garbage bin because he's on the run from the police.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stay low, and remember, you're a bin.
That was hilarious. How like no one even notices the both moving and talking garbage bin.
Yeah.
It's just like normal to them.
He even literally tells a policeman, nothing to see here, just a normal bin.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nothing to see here, officer. Just a bin.
So then this is like, I guess, the climax of the movie. The train takes off, Phoenix is on it, he has the book, and the Browns catch up a little too late. Paddington has already boarded the train that Phoenix is on to try to grab the book.
There's two trains that are going like side by
Right,
side.
they're parallel.
So there's a bit of an action sequence, almost sort of like a Indiana Jones-ish type of thing going on with like train hopping and running across the trains,
and
trying
speeding
to
the train
catch
up
the
and
villain.
slowing it down. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good comedic moments in that too, like when
Yes.
Mr. Brown does his like
His
yoga or whatever.
chakrobatics, whatever.
Open your mind and your legs will follow.
Which was something that he had taken up to help deal with his midlife crisis. So again, they have that like humor thread that comes back around. You know what essentially happens, and this is really funny because it would be a huge deal if it weren't the Paddington Cinematic Universe. The Browns basically hijack a train.
Yeah.
It's a steam train running parallel to the train that Paddington and Phoenix are on.
They actually do.
Yeah, and since Jonathan knows like how to operate and build steam engines, he's like super into the steam trains. They essentially do. I mean, they don't show any scenes of them like knocking out like the train captain or whatever.
No, they don't injure anyone.
Yeah, but
hurt
they
them.
do take over the steam room, and no one seems to be concerned about that.
My name's not J-Dog. It's Jonathan Brown, and I like steam trains.
I'm so sorry.
So the judge who sentenced Paddington, who got his hair shaved, is a passenger on the hijacked steam train. So then, of course, his train ride is ruined too, and that's pretty great. But yeah, so they're chasing the train that Paddington and Phoenix Buchanan are on, and the Browns have various interventions to prevent Phoenix from getting Paddington.
And there's like a piano-shaped type-ish.
It's like an organ, like a weird carnival organ.
Carnival type of thing.
Yeah.
That he has to play a certain combination of musical notes that he learned from the clues throughout the movie to get the treasure.
The treasure hidden in the organ.
Yes, but then for various reasons, it doesn't work.
It's thwarted.
Yeah. And then, so one of the trains ends up like going off the tracks, like on a bridge, right?
Yeah, so Paddington is just about to get from the carnival train to the hijacked steam train and be safe back with the Browns, but Phoenix snatches him, takes the book back.
That's right. He takes out the
ladder that he used for window washing.
No. Well, yeah, there was one thing. Paddington tries to use the window washing ladder to get to the other train.
Yeah.
But Phoenix pulls up, what's it called? The thing that
bolt.
like attaches the rail cars. Yeah, the bolt.
Yeah.
And then
he throws Paddington in the
diverts
caboose and locks
Paddington's
it.
train car and it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so his train car ends up at the bottom of a river. Mrs. Brown dives in because,
she's been swimming the English Channel. Yeah.
Yes. To try to save him. And then for a moment, it honestly seems like really hopeless, like they're both gonna drown and not gonna be able to get out of it.
And it's genuinely really sad because they're like pulling at the door, trying to get the caboose door unlocked so Paddington can come out. And you kind of see like this moment where they give up.
I think like
and stop pulling on it.
Yeah, little children in the movie would definitely think they're like about to die.
Yeah, I would have been traumatized. They stop pulling on the chain and the lock, and they just kind of look at each other and grab hands, like accepting, okay, yeah, this is the end.
Yeah.
And it's rough.
And then Paddington's prison friends, who you've kind of forgotten about at this point,
but you're aware they're in the area in a seaplane.
They have decided to come back and rescue Paddington.
Yeah. And their escape vehicle after landing the balloon, they had been in a seaplane. They were flying near the area, so they actually land the seaplane where Paddington is falling into the river. They come, they help bust Paddington out of the sunken train car, and
do they take off after that? It's like whatever happens to Knuckles and his prison friends? Like, do they get?
I think there was a news broadcast
go free?
in the following scene where it said they were all pardoned. I think it says that.
Oh, okay. We don't even know what crimes they did.
No.
They could have been murderers and rapists.
And they were just let out for helping a bear, as they should be. The ultimate act of redemption.
Yes. Speaking of which, something that sort of ties in with the ultimate message of the movie, and we'll talk about the ending scene after we talk about this, but there's a mid-credit scene where Phoenix has gone to jail, the same jail that Paddington was in, but Paddington has turned the jail into like a happy, friendly place. So when Phoenix arrives there, he's able to
kind of overcome his narcissism.
Yeah, correct his ways. He's able to put on a like Broadway type show in jail, but with the help of the other prisoners and jail
and
members.
Guards.
Listen to the rain on the roof go pit, pitty pat. Plunk a blink, blank, pity that is gone.
The guards are doing a little dance.
So it goes to help the message of the movie that anyone, it's sort of a message of like anyone, like no matter how bad of things they've done can kind of like turn around.
Yeah.
Ish.
Well, and how like they weren't really. It's really like Paddington sees the best in people and then brings out the best in people. So
that's right. Yeah.
Indirectly, he brought out this much better side of Phoenix Buchanan by essentially sending him to jail
because he brought out the good sides of the other inmates. That he's with.
Who then proceeded to bring out the best.
Him. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just this chain reaction of him making things more positive. I guess we'll talk about like the little ending scene now.
Mm-hmm.
So Paddington wakes up, he's back at the Browns' house, he's been asleep for 3 days, which means that it's Aunt Lucy's birthday. And he's pissed because he thinks that he
didn't get the book, right?
Yeah, he didn't get the book.
Do we know whatever happened to the book?
The police took it for evidence, they say.
Oh, okay.
The police needed it in their prosecution against Phoenix Buchanan, so Paddington was pardoned, obviously, but he's upset because he thinks that he's let down his Aunt Lucy because he didn't give her the book and she didn't have a present and woke up on her birthday giftless.
Yeah, but it turns out that everyone in Paddington's neighborhood has worked together to somehow
Aunt Lucy returned.
bring Aunt Lucy to London.
From Peru.
She shows up at the Browns' front door at the end, which for me, when I saw it the first time, was very like unexpected. I didn't think that was going to happen, and it was
Yeah.
very like heartwarming. It's like,
It was.
"Aw,
I cried.
they brought
I'm a
Aunt
wreck.
Lucy to London instead of giving her a book that makes her
Yeah,
think
it's
about
like the
what it would be like to live in
Only
London."
thing that would have been better than Paddington's gift idea was that.
Yeah, it was
Like,
actually bringing her to London.
Yeah. His gift was like a 10 out of 10, but then that was like
Yeah.
a 12.
Paddington.
Happy birthday, Aunt Lucy.
He hugs her and he says, "Happy birthday, Aunt Lucy," and then that's...
Yeah.
And then
it's
by
very
that
sweet.
point, I'm like, yeah, I was a wreck.
I'm a wreck right now.
So, if Paul King and all them end up making a Paddington 3, I was telling you earlier, I think Aunt Lucy should be like a big part of it now
That
that
would be
she's in
cool.
London.
That would be really cool. And they better not kill her because... Let me
I
tell
don't
you
think they
something.
would.
I could
They
hardly
already
stand
killed
it
Uncle
when
Pastuzo.
Pastuzo died, okay? I could hardly stand it. It was a hard time for me, so... the fact that everyone who has had their lives so touched by Paddington decide to kind of return the favor, it's very much like a nice karma moment for Paddington, where all his goodness pays off and is
Yeah.
returned to him.
Yeah, that's true. Karma is a very big aspect of the movie.
Yeah. He puts good things out and good things happen.
And good things end up coming back to him.
Yeah.
Even if it's not right away.
Yep. Even if he gets framed and sent to prison first.
Yes.
Um,
So really, like, overall, Paddington 2, like, we say it as a joke that it's a perfect movie because it has a
The Rotten
perfect
Tomatoes
score on Rotten Tomatoes, but it kind of is genuinely a perfect movie.
Yeah.
Like, there really aren't any flaws. that I can
the
think
tone
of.
is like super consistent. The humor is like extremely, I mean, it's always really funny. I remember
Yeah.
there's like punny newspaper headlines in a lot of the scenes. There was one where it was like, "Dry cleaner caught for money laundering, details being ironed out."
Yeah.
And I think I remember in the first review that we did for Paddington, I was talking about how like some of that humor would have gone right over my head if I was a kid, and that was one of them, like with the punny newspaper headlines. If I was a little kid watching that, I don't think I would have noticed. So I do like that they make it entertaining for, you know,
Yeah, for all ages.
children. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's pretty much it.
That's what we have
That
to say.
was our review of Paddington 2. Basically, let this be a lesson to all of you viewers out there. If you want me to review a movie, then you need to pay me $174 for each movie, and then I'll do it. But
At that
I won't do
price
it for.
point, you can review.
And at that price point, at Stable of Stars, he can hit. Fine!
At that price point, I can.
He can
But
review.
not at a lower price point. I'm kind of greedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, let's just round up to 175. That's the price. Drop a 175 donation, maybe he'll make a video recommendation of your choice.
Pay up, bitches.